Hi guys and welcome back. Apologies for the lack of content recently. Just been incredibly busy in and out of the workshop. A few things have gone on which I'm going to use this vlog to update you with, and going off the thumbnail which I'm planning on using for this vlog, yes, something new is coming, which means the GTS is actually being sold. So the GTS has been sold maybe about 3 weeks ago now, and it was unexpectedly sold, to be honest. It all started off with Porsche sending me an email a few weeks ago about whether I wanted to sell the car back to them. I didn't at the time. I planned on selling the car around about end of summer. Had a few lot of things left to do, still got a track day booked. But anyway, it just prompted me to start to look at the market, see what the worth the GTS is. And anybody who sold a car recently or even bought a car will know that the used car market is brilliant at the moment for sellers. Not so good for buyers, but good for sellers. So the car actually sold within 24 hours of advertising it, put it up for sale on a Wednesday. A deal was agreed by Wednesday morning and the car was collected the following day. Very quick, very easy, wasn't expecting it to go so quickly. But the car sold for a considerable amount over what I paid for it 19 months ago, with 7,000 miles on there. It was due a little bit of maintenance, such as it needed a pair of front tyres and brake pads all round, so it was quite good that I sold it before having to fork out that money for that. But because I wasn't intended on selling the car at the time I have, there's no demo car, there's no performance engineering demo car at the moment, so don't really know what to buy. At the moment, everything on the used car market is just very expensive. Everything is a considerable amount over what they was maybe a year ago, and it's not going to stay like that. It's going to come back down at some point, and I don't know if at the moment it's the right time to buy, unless a car comes up which got the brilliant car, brilliant spec, and the price is right and the mileage is right. I don't know if a car is going to be coming quite so soon. Already sent a couple of emails, so kind of contradicting myself already. I've already sent a couple of inquiries on 1 or 2 vehicles, and the one vehicle which is really at the top of the list at the moment is something pretty different. Heavily track focused car. I won't say too much, but if we do purchase it and do the usual performance engineering bits to it, packages and tracking it and using it as it should be, not many people in the UK really do these things to this particular car. But when you're looking for cars and something which will be good for you guys and good for us, something new, everything changes all the time. We've gone from looking at one car one day to something else the next week, and no doubt something else is probably going to pop up in a couple of weeks time. But I thought for today, a little bit of fun. The 992 GTS has actually been released, so I thought, why don't we get on the configurator? And not going to get one, I don't think, but if we was, let's spec it and see how much it actually comes out to. So configurator, not too clued up with this, but it should be self-explanatory. But we won't do a full spec sheet because I think it'll take quite a bit of time. But anyway, base Carrera just under £85,000, and then we've got the Carrera S just under £97,500, and then GTS just under £109,000. So it's quite a bit more than the base Carrera. But if you wanted a Targa GTS, that's £16,000 more than the coupe, £124,000. Once you spec that up, that's going to be one pricey 911. Oh, but 992 GTS. I'll say straight off the bat, I'm not a huge fan of the visual looks of a 992. I prefer the 0.1. I prefer the 991.2. I feel there's a bit of a prettier car the previous gen, and a few little things which a little bit disappointing with the GTS is it doesn't come with that much difference in terms of the body styling. So it doesn't have a different front bumper, and the rear bumper is fairly similar, and I'm not too sure if it comes with the wider rear arches, which the previous 991.2 did. So a few little things which are not 100% sold on, but the standard colours you can get is a racing yellow, guards red, black and white. And personally, I feel the best colour is guards red, which is free, so that'll be happy days. But I think if I was going to go for a car now, I would have, I did like the Miami blue. I did originally want a Miami blue GTS, but the 992 comes with sharp blue, which I believe is the same colour as the 992 GT3s, which it was released with. So when you see all the promo cars and the journalists, I think they come in this colour. So I'd go for this. But in terms of alloy design, as great as centre locks look, I don't think I would have them again. On the GTS, which we had, as good as the centre locks is, there's a few lot of things about them which I don't think are that great. If you ever had a puncture anywhere, whether you're even a couple of miles from your house or if you're doing a road trip somewhere, it's not a case of just taking the tyre off and taking it to a repair shop. It needs to go on a flatbed. It needs to go to a specific tyre fitter which knows exactly how to do the centre locks, which most people don't. Some people don't even have the right equipment. It's just a bit of a pain. So I'd probably go for just a normal 5-stud wheel, which I actually do prefer these alloys as well. These are the so the GTS, a 992 comes with 20s on the front and 21s on the rear. On a previous model, they were just 20s front and rear, so it's a slightly difference. These are the RS Spider design. Okay, so that's what it looks like from the rear. Yes, do rather like these wheels. And one thing with the 992 is the brake disc really do fill the wheels. On the model that we had, as big as the front and rear discs was, they kind of got lost in the 20-inch alloys, where if they look like this in person, this would look a lot better. And one thing which I'm not too sure on the 992, and I think it's the main thing, is the rear. I think the rear is quite bulky looking, and I think the main reason for this is on the previous model, the intercoolers were situated by here, so just behind the rear wheel, inside the lower rear bumper. So I think with the 992s, they've put the intercoolers up around here, so just below the main intake, the intake feed. So I think due to the proportions with the bumper, which would have to be, I think that's why it maybe looks a little bit bulky. I'm not too sure if that's right, but just a 992s. Let's see if we can got one from the side. Yeah, just by here, this aspect of it just seems rather hunchback, I should say. It's even worse than the convertible aspect of it, or configuration, I should say. And I don't know if a GTS comes with the wider rear hips on the 992s. Anyway, let's crack on. So interior, I've gone through this already, okay, and basically you want to just have the GTS interior package. So let's click this. So GTS interior package comes with the rev counter in carmine red, and comes with a carbon interior pack, which is a £5,287 option. So let's click that. Let's see if this is going to load. Okay, so you can see here we've got the stitching there, we've got the red dark here, and the yellow sports chrono. But personally, I'd like this in yellow, but when I've tried to configure it in yellow, what was it? It's a very, very bright yellow, which I don't know if it's just the way it looks on this screen. and it won't look like that in person, but I probably wouldn't have it based off how it looks here, but I think in person it looked better. I just don't know if the red, carmine red stitching and the center dial will go well with the blue, but if we have it in, this is the same, but instead of it being carmine red, it's in crayon. So see here, that's in crayon, and then we've got the stitching here, and then we've got the GTS embroidered in the seats, and then the stitching all down here, and also the seat belts as well. So if we go back to here, you can see there changes. Okay, personally wouldn't have the red against the blue, so I'd go for this option. Any of the extended leather options just gets rid of the GTS interior package with the carbon, so I probably wouldn't do it. So we'll just skip all this. In terms of seats, I had the 18-way adjustable seats in our GTS, but you've got the full carbon buckets, okay, which do look great, okay, but they're a fixed bucket, and the main reason for a lot of people who have GTSs over a GT3 is if you've got little ones, you can put them in the back. They've got ISOFIX in them as well, so it makes the car slightly practical. I've got 2 young ones, so they go in the back, and we've used it many a times for many journeys, and it's ideal, really, to be fair. But I think having the fixed carbon, as nice as they look, I probably wouldn't pick them. But £3,788 if you wanted to do that. They do look really nice. If they had the folding carbon, which I think you can get in a couple of models, I'd definitely have them. But I think for now, 18-way seats it is. And you've got 18-way, and I think you've got a 12-way seat, and then possibly a 6. I don't know. But basically, it's just more. Let me see if I can get a picture. Just more levels of adjustment. So here, 18 ways of adjustment. But I'd pick it because I've had it before. But with these type of things, once you set your seat to how you like it and you set it on a memory, you rarely ever change it again. But these seats are just under £2,000. So would have those stitching. Interior trim with decorative stitching. Let's have a look at this. Right, okay, so this is what is on the GTS. Okay. So embroidered and dash. Yes, we would have this. Let's just check to make sure. See, if you do this, it removes the GTS interior package, so you wouldn't do that. So we'll just skip interior packages for now. In terms of exterior, I think the only thing I would have on the exterior is, where is it? I did see it. Okay, I can't find it right now. But it would be the carbon wing mirrors. That's the only thing I would change on the exterior. And then when we come down to drivetrain and chassis, I'd go ahead with the PDK, slightly different to the previous gen. It was a 7-speed, but I'd definitely have the PDK with something like this. If it was an RS car or something purely track focused, I'd go ahead with a manual. PASM, I thought that was standard, but yes, it's free, so I'll take it, and I'd have the Porsche dynamic chassis control that comes with the rear axle steer, which I think if you've ever been in a 911 or owned a 911 before, and when you're driving at low speed, literally like a couple of miles an hour, you get a lot of crabbing. That's due to the Ackerman steering of the car, the front suspension geometry. But I think if you have the rear axle steer, it just eliminates it slightly. So this package would be £3,865. I'd probably click that. Okay, so I probably wouldn't have carbon brakes. Main reason being the standard brakes on a GTS Previous GTS was brilliant on track. I was probably most impressed with the brakes. They were brilliant, I thought. So I think, given that this car wouldn't be an RS product, carbon ceramics for just under £6,500 I probably wouldn't pick. And when speaking to some RS or GT3 customers on track, a lot of them have gone from ceramics to steel brakes, and I think mainly purely down to the cost factor of them to replace. Yes, you don't need to replace them that much, but if you're the unlucky person who buys a used car and they need replacing, it's going to cost you quite a lot of money. So power steering plus, that's just where the steering is a bit light. Front axle lift, definitely choose that, because 9 times out of 10 the car will be lower than the Porsche design clock. This is a nice little feature. So the sports chrono dials are slightly different. I like all the watch tech in it. So, and then where are we now? So lighting. Only thing for the lights is I would have the Porsche Dynamic Light System Plus. Had this on a previous model. It's a really good system. It gives you these upgraded headlights. They look brilliant, and at night they're really nice, and they're very bright, and they're adaptive as well. So going around corners and that, they're always moving. And then privacy glass, definitely have that. In terms of comfort, the only thing I'd have is the park assist with the cameras. And then I wouldn't have any of these lane changing things and stuff like that. I'd have adaptive cruise. Quite lazy on long journeys. £1,200 for that. And then I believe Porsche entry and drive. I believe that is comfort access. Keyless entry, yeah. So BMW version of comfort access, £387. I would have that. A lot of people say about your car getting stolen, but car's always locked in a secure garage. I never really leave it anywhere when I'm out, so I'd have that. We'll ignore all the interior stuff. Audio, I'd have the Bose sound system. I was very impressed with the Bose. I've had Bose in Audis previously, and it's never been that great, but in the GTS it was brilliant. The Burmeister for £3,258, I probably wouldn't pick it. If I bought a used car and I had it, I'd be happy, but I probably wouldn't spec it. Wheels, all these little bits we can largely ignore. But yeah, let's see how much this car, let's see if we can get some photos. Yeah, that's a pretty nice bit of kit. When you start speccing certain things, such as like the gloss black exterior, you've got to have the aero kit, which let me just show the aero kit. Where are we? Aero kit. Exterior. So exterior aero kit. I would have an aero kit, okay, but I like this. It's a slightly more aggressive front end with the grills. This is slightly different from the standard S, and I like this, but don't like the spoiler. The spoiler is not one for me. I think since owning a non-winged Porsche, I quite like the fact of having a non-winged Porsche. A little bit more of an aggressive rear bumper, but again, on the previous model you had the sports exhaust with a slightly different tip, so it was central, so they were different from the Carrera S, whereas on the GTS they're the same. Again, not something too fond of, but if you have this spec, you've got to have the rear wing. So if you could have it without the rear wing, I'd probably have this. But there's one more thing. Let me take this aero off. There's one more thing. Where is it? Rear. I've probably lost it now. Yeah. Electric slide and tilt glass sunroof. Before the GTS, I probably wouldn't spec this, but having it on the GTS, I think it's brilliant. Gives you the black roof as well, and it just amplifies the experience of the car. And obviously when we had the the upgraded exhaust and decats and manifolds, it just sounded incredible. And then obviously having the roof off just amplified the experience of the car. Yes, it's just under £1,600 just for a sunroof, but I would definitely spec that. And it also looks pretty nice as well. So if you have a look at it here, yes, it's nice that. But there's one more option. You've got obviously the lightweight carbon roof, which I personally wouldn't have on something like this. Again, if it was a GT3 or an RS, you would, but on something like this, I probably wouldn't. And where is it? I'm trying to find the exterior, not that. Side mirror trim. It's a few little things which is a bit annoying, because the side window trim in black high gloss, if you have this, you've got to have the certain wheels, and you've got to have the aero kit. But I wouldn't want the aero kit and I wouldn't want the wheels, so I don't know if you can have this certain spec without having those, so I'd have to just not have that at the moment. But let me just see if I can find this one last thing. Exclusive design fuel cap. There's no photo for this, but I'm assuming it's just the aluminium filler cap which you can have, and yes, it's just under £100. I would have that. I can't actually find it, but you can have the rear lights. I still really like that, but they're a bit smoked out, which looks pretty good. But anyway, let's see how much this car comes to. £130,885. So we've added just under £22,000 of options, and it's not a particularly options heavy spec, to be honest with you, because I don't really like all certain things on your performance related car. If it's a luxury car, you'd have all a lot of features. If it's a out and out track car, you'd lose a lot of features such as the roof, and maybe opt for different wheels, have the center locks. Again, actually I wouldn't have center locks. If you have a puncture on track, you're in the same predicament. But let's have a look at the spec before we close off. Yeah, I do like this. I have spec'd it with the carbon wing mirrors, which I do like. That's not loaded, but yeah, overall it is a pretty nice looking car, but I prefer a 992. I do prefer a 992, but we'll leave it at that anyway. The interior on is pretty nice. A nice stitching, and the infotainment is a lot more upgraded, a lot more modern than the previous model. But yeah, overall nice looking car. £130,000. Probably wouldn't buy one. I'd wait until someone's bought it, paid £131,000 for it, and you probably get it then in a year's time for maybe around about 100,000, maybe 110,000. So it saves yourself a bit of money, and I think you'll probably linger around 100,000 for a couple of years then. So it shouldn't be that expensive of a car in terms of what you buy it for and what you sell it for. But anyway, I think we will wrap it up with this. I don't know if I'm going to take you on a full the journey of buying a new car, the next performance engineered demo car. There's a few little options. I may not vlog test drives and going to view cars. I don't know just yet. But yeah, we will see in the next vlogs. But hope you enjoyed this one, and see you on the next one.